Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
You could use it to fight off creeping marauders looking to take your steaks off your grills.
I just like being anywhere with Junior, Senior, and Diva.
Sounds like a whole other type of movie.
Wow. Yeah, really. Keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Hey, welcome back to the second hour, folks. What's up? Hey, Rod Gray from Pellet Envy, what do you expect to be happening on the second hour?
Nothing.
Who asked you anyway? Bastard. All right. Thanks again to Mike Wozniak from QOW joining us during the past hour, giving us a recap of the whole Jack Daniels win for him. Best win he's ever had. He said it. He's won a lot. His words, not mine. We've won a lot. Hey, Rod, what did you win this weekend at the Jack?
Nothing.
Damn right, babe. Rod Gray will live to hate that soundbite, but it was just one of the best answers ever to a question, so too bad. Sometimes you just got to live with what you said, and you can become infamous here on the show. Want to give a special mention to a Centralite listening out in California tonight, although that's not where he's from, but pitmaster of Hoos Barbecue, Brian Dodd. Special Agent Brian Dodd can cook a mean pork butt and could turn around and kill you with his pinky, keeping the world free of marauders and drug cartels and all you other people. DEA Special Agent Brian Dodd. And I just want to say that, Brian, we will always be friends no matter what. And if I ever anger you, just give me like 5-second head start. I will leave because I want no part of you, brother. So thanks to Brian for listening. Here's what's happening on the second hour of the show tonight. In just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by pitmaster of the Barbecue Guru competition team, Bob Trudnak, to go over his reserve grand championship win at this past weekend's Jack Daniels Barbecue Cook-Off. An outstanding effort. I mean, you have to give it to Bob and the boys out there at Barbecue Guru, having an exceptional year. And certainly looking forward to getting his thoughts. And then after Bob, around half past the hour, we're going to be joined by the folks at wiredbbq.com to kind of recap their live web streaming of the Jack Daniels event as well. So that's what we have. If you want to call in, take questions, well, I'll take the questions. You can ask them. You can do so toll-free at 877-448-0433. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Race over to the hotline and bring up reserve grand champ barbecue pitmaster of the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off, Bob Trudnak, ladies and gentlemen. Bob, how are you tonight, buddy?
Hey, how are you, Greg? I'm doing great.
Oh, good. And is this a cell phone?
This is a cell phone. I am up in northeast Pennsylvania at deer camp with my brother.
Man, this is like the best sounding cell phone I've ever heard in my life.
Well, always the best.
Man, I love it. I appreciate that. So, Bob, certainly a lot of different places that we can start. But what are you doing out in the middle of nowhere? Shouldn't you be downtown New York City, living up the limelight and the glitz and glamour?
No. This is how I like to spend my time off in the woods with my bro, watching squirrels, hoping a deer walks by. And
what happens to that deer if it walks by?
It's gonna be a rump roast real soon.
You're gonna be smoking some deer butt.
Absolutely. We'll be on the onyx oven in an hour and a half.
So are you typically successful when you go out on these missions, or just is it more of the hang with the brother, or are you really looking to bring some big game back?
No, I'm typically successful. There's been a few bad shots over the years, but no, we're pretty good at it. We do a lot of practicing, and we stay focused, and we're pretty good at deer hunting.
What's the weapon of choice these days to bring down deer?
Actually, a Matthews FX. We're bow hunters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're one of those moral killers.
Yeah. The gun's too easy to get the deer within 15 yards and only take a shot if it makes sense.
There you go. All right. So Bob Trudnak, pitmaster of the Guru and bow hunter extraordinaire, joining us from the wilds of Pennsylvania. So, Bob, we look back on this past weekend. I know it's only been a couple days removed here on a Wednesday, but as you went down to the Jack Daniels, and certainly you'd be the first to admit it, you're not doing well, pardon the expression, shitload of contests like some of the other teams that run up and down the road. You pick your spots. You do a decent amount during the course of the year, typically on the East Coast, although you do venture out west for American Royal or some of the bigger contests. But when you got picked, and I remember we had a conversation about it, it was right after all of the teams had been pulled, and you were certainly excited to get down there. But did you ever, in your wildest dreams, consider that you could be potentially walking away with Reserve Grand Championship honors, or perhaps were you expecting to go down to win?
No, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, the reward, the trophy to me was getting called for the Jack, getting our bung picked, and just being there, being in the holler and experiencing the Jack Daniels cook-off. That was our trophy. And anything above that is just, beyond words. It's just hard to explain. We always we're confident. We always try to go out there and do our best. And we know we turn in good food for the most part. But to have this happen, it's just, I'm still up on cloud nine. I can't believe it. I'm pinching myself.
I was talking with Mike Wozniak from QOW just this past hour. Obviously, he was the guy finishing just one spot ahead of you. And I was watching all of the events unfold through wiredbbq.com, which allowed us to see not only a lot of the goings-on during the course of the weekend, but most importantly, the award show. And we heard Guru get called twice. We heard Wozniak's team get called twice, that and being QOW. And we were like placing online bets of who they thought was going to be called as grand champion, because they were only calling, I believe, top 5 spots. So typically in a contest, right, you're getting called top 10. So we would have been able to better gauge, where the 2 non-calls were coming for either of you guys. But since we didn't have that, it was quite the nerve-wracking experience for me. I can only imagine what you were going through, knowing that you had 2 calls and that Mike had 2 calls as well, and where you guys were shaking out with the non-calls. How did it feel for you sitting through that countdown process?
It was wild. I mean, the butterflies were going. I was nervous. We had a 4th and chicken and a 2nd and pork, and they had a 1st and 3rd call. So we just thought, we're in this, man. And unless we take something, we got a shot at number 1. And at that point, while you guys were placing your bets, I was looking for an oxygen bottle, and we were just beside ourselves, and pacing and just waiting for the results.
Bob Trudnak from the Barbecue Guru joining us here from the mountains of Pennsylvania, doing some bow hunting with his brother. So, Bob, I certainly appreciate your time here tonight. But as you kind of look back, as you were preparing to go down, you're cooking a certain way for KCBS competition, and we could talk all sorts of gray weirdness about the Jack Daniels and how it's not a KCBS competition, but really it more is than it isn't, and they have KCBS training judges, but it's not KCBS, and points don't count, blah, 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 blah. So, knowing that there is this diversity of judging palates that are down there. And you obviously in the industry for many, many years, you've heard all these cooks talk about all the different competitions. The thing that I hear most of all is when you get down to the Jack, the tent behind where the judges are, it's a little thrown off because you have celebrity judges, you have trained barbecue people, and then you have people that are just kind of off the street getting trained on the fly. Did you adjust how you're cooking the weekends that you would normally cook at KCBS? Did you adjust it at all to compensate for that diversity in judging palate?
No, not at all. A barbecue judge is a barbecue judge. And if, I know there's, different people who have different thoughts about what if they should score a 9 or what they should score at 8 or what they should score as not a 6. But what we do every time is try to put out good, juicy barbecued meat with a nice range of flavors, with a complexity, with layers. I want them to taste heat and sweet and spice and smoke, and we try to do it every time. So I don't want to change anything up. I want to cook the best barbecue I can cook with that in mind, and just hope that the judges like it.
Have you taken any competition cooking courses, or are you and the team just consistent in practice and developing all of your own flavor profiles and rubs and sauces?
Well, I did take a couple classes early on. The first person I learned from was Steve Farron, with I Smell Smoke. And, he taught me a lot. And he taught me a lot about philosophy of cooking. And, we do our own thing as far as flavors. Kenny and I bring a lot of our own flavors to the team, and we kind of blend them, and I think that's what makes it work. But there's a philosophy, there's a way of thinking, that no matter what flavors you use, there's things you want to do to make your food just a touch better, or what you think is a touch better than everybody else's. And, that's kind of what I got out of his class. About 4 or 5 years ago, I also took Mike Davis's class, and that was like a technique class. So I certainly learned, from some wonderful cooks. What we try to do is just take little bits of information from them, and then use that in our own flavors, in our own cooking style, and try to make it the best we possibly can.
So now with the Reserve Grand Championship underneath the belt, I was getting emails all weekend going, obviously the question to me is a little ridiculous, but people that maybe are a little bit more on the periphery, don't understand what you guys are all about, what your company is all about, is because obviously we have a diverse range of listenerships here, people that are just backyard, people that don't really care about competition, all the way up to people that are out on the trail with you guys. And they're asking me, well, do the Barbecue Guru guys actually use the stuff that they manufacture and sell in competition? And I've, of course, answered back, well, yeah, of course, that's like the whole deal. But just to be crystal clear, everything that you're cooking on is something that I could go on thebbqguru.com and buy for my own backyard.
Yeah, everything we're cooking on. We bring 4 cookers out there with us. Maybe we don't necessarily need 4 cookers, but we have them, so we bring them. We have 2 Onyx ovens. We have 2 Caldera Tall Boys. And we cook our pork, and we cook our ribs on the Tall Boys, and we cook our chicken and our brisket on the Onyx ovens. And, we can switch them up. We know our cookers. We know them very well. We cook on them all the time. And I can cook all my meats on the Onyx ovens. I can cook all my meats on the Tall Boys and know how to adjust for it, because I know how they cook. But we try to show our products out there. So we bring both Onyx and Tall Boy with us, and we cook on both to show people, that you can do well with these cooks and this equipment and our controls.
Bob Trudnak joining us here from the Barbecue Guru. Bob, have you ever sold your cookers like right off the floor at the end of a competition?
Yeah, actually many times. Many times. At Harpoon, I think we sold 2 of the 4 cookers we had last year yeah, people come up to us and they look at the cookers and they say, how much do you want for this one that you're using today? I'll come by before I pack up on Sunday and pick it up. And, we've been cooking on them all season, so we'll give them the best price we can, and they pick it up and take it with them. So, yeah, we've done that quite a bit.
Hey, Bob, do you want to try and take a phone call here?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see how this works out. This didn't work too well the last time I tried. Right, let's go to area code 816. You're on with Bob Trudnak, Reserve Grand Champion of the World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off, Jack Daniels. Go ahead with your question.
Hey, how's it going? Congratulations on your Reserve Grand Champion.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Who is this?
My name's Tyler, calling from the Kansas City area.
All right, Tyler, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a quick question. I've been on the Barbecue Guru website, and I've checked out the link that shows, it's kind of a link that says, check this page out to see which Barbecue Guru tool can be used for your particular grill. Where would somebody go, or what would someone do that can't find their smoker or their pit on that page? Where would I go to find out information on my particular smoker?
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a lot of new cookers coming out, and there's a lot of new cookers we're finding about every week. And we try to add to that list as much as possible. If you don't see your cooker on the recommended list, give us a call. Sarah and I are in the office most of the time, and we'll get you directed in the right direction. There's a kind of a guide we go by. We look at the style of the cooker and the size of the cooker, and any of our controls will work on any cooker out there. It's all about fan size and adapter. So we can certainly, if you don't see it there, give us a call, and within a matter of minutes, we'll get you hooked up with the right package.
All right. Thanks a lot.
And Tyler, by the way, the number is 800-288-GURU, just in case. So make sure you write down that number and then give Bob a call. Thank you for the call, Tyler. All right, nothing like getting in a little sales pitch there, Bob. Very good. So
I know. Are you setting this up for me or what?
Hey, man, I got to take care of the people that are taking care of me. Let's try one more call here. I'm sure this is my mom calling in to pretend like she's somebody. Area code 281. You're on with Bob Trudnak. Go ahead.
Hey, Bob. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. A question. After this weekend, do we have to call you Gentleman Bob now? Is that it or what? Do we have to wear black T-shirts and genuflect and call you Gentleman Bob now?
No, not at all. I'm still from Southeast Pennsylvania.
Well, I don't know. After all that talk about being in the woods with your brother and the squirrels, I don't really know how to follow all that up. So on to another question. You guys have been competing, I guess, for the last, 4, 5, 6 years. But in the last couple of years, it seems like you're more serious just from watching, and kind of keeping track of you a little bit. What would you say if you could go back a couple years from, ago, what would you say that you're doing now without giving away any secrets that you never would have thought you would have been doing 2 years ago that's made you a lot better cook?
All right, thanks for the call. What do you think about that, Bob? What are you doing now that you never thought you would be doing?
Well, I think I'm just kind of honing what we've already done, and we've done well for a few years, kind of paying more attention to detail, looking for little ways to make things just a little bit better. When we knew we had to cook for the Jack, Kenny and I had a discussion about, okay, there's 7 pieces that have to go in the box, and we're going to be with 80 or 85 of the best teams in the world. What are we going to do about it? Yes, we think we're putting in great food right now, and we are, but how are we going to step it up just that little bit? So we looked at presentation, and I think it's one of the things we've really worked on over the last couple of years is presentation and trying to be as unique as possible. And just tweaking things here or there. If things are consistently doing well for you over a few contests, keep it the same. Well, if they start to drop off over a couple contests, maybe you need to make a tweak, add this or take away that. So we constantly are doing that and looking at scores and just really paying attention to what the judges are giving us. We look at all of our presentation, all of our taste, all of our tenderness. And I look at it over a series of contests. I pay a lot of attention to that and just try to make it a little bit better each time and see where it takes us. Bob
Trudnak of the Barbecue Guru joining us here on the Barbecue Central Show. Reserve Grand Champion at this past weekend's Jack Daniels. Bob, if we can turn over to the business of the Barbecue Guru at hand and move away from the competition for a moment. Anything that's coming out or anything that you want to mention specifically since I've dragged you away from the brother killing spree out there in the mountains of Pennsylvania?
No, I mean, check out our Onyx ovens. They're fantastic cookers. We have them ready to go. I really think you'll like them. We do have a few things in the works, nothing I can discuss. But within the next year, there'll be some exciting new things coming from us. And we carry a lot of, competition-style sauces, rubs, some great accessories. Just check us out. Give us a call. And we'll be happy to talk to you and hopefully help your barbecuing.
Is a longtime sponsor of the show, that being the Barbecue Guru. And again, he is the Reserve Grand Champion from this weekend's past the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. And he's taking time out from a family gathering to join us here on the show. Bob, I hate to pull you away here, but I certainly appreciate the time that you make for the show and the continued sponsorship of it. Have fun with your brother, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Always a pleasure, Greg. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, take care. There he is. Reserve Grand Champion, or as Chase Utley would say, Reserve Grand Champion, baby. Yeah! Bob Trudnak. Thinning out the deer herd. Nothing better than that. Look, this might be a unpopular opinion, but the last time I checked, deer outnumber humans 758,000 to 1. There should never be bow hunting season. There should always be machine gun hunting deer season. They need to be, they're like rats now. I live in the city, for crying out loud. Deer run down my street like it's pasture. And there's nothing on either side of me except brick and cement. There's no trees in my front yard. There's no trees in my backyard. They're brick. What the hell kind of a house is this? It's a one floor. What do they call that? A ranch. They're all brick ranches surrounded by very small lots of grass and tons of cement streets and sidewalks. What is attractive to a deer about that? Let me answer that. Nothing. It's not fun to run on cement streets with your little deer hooves, looking for tender vegetation to feast on. There's nothing here. The only thing that's in my backyard are guns and violence. Beat it, deer. I'll get my gun out. We'll go to work. All right, so that was Bob Trudnak. Again, his website, thebbqguru.com, or the toll-free number to get a hold of him is 800-288-GURU, 800-288-GURU. And you won't be sorry that you checked them out. And again, I would ask this of all of you people out there. If you know the sponsors of the show, which obviously I mention all the time, and you're in the market for whatever they provide, give them first consideration. You know, they're helping me out. I'm helping them out. It's a mutually reciprocating situation and relationship. But if you need a cooker, if you need sauces or whatever, check out my sponsors first and give them first preference. I humbly ask that of you. All right, we're going to step away here very quickly. And then when we come back, we will be joined by Phil Costanzo, Anthony Costanzo, and Dave Baldine from WiredBBQ.com. That was Bob Trudnak of the Barbecue Guru, Reserve Grand Championship winner of the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off from this past weekend. All right, we'll be right back. Hang on.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together. And the Ribolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back, half past the hour. This is the Barbecue Central Show, brought to you by the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. Thanks again to Bob Trudnak, Reserve Grand Champion winner at the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off that took place this past weekend. Oh, maybe you saw Bob Trudnak and Team Barbecue Guru and or Mike Wozniak and Team QOW get called. What do you mean saw them? saw them on wiredbbq.com. Hey, Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. What did you win this past weekend?
Nothing.
That's right. All right, so let's go ahead and race over to the hotline where we find Dave Baldine, Phil Costanzo, and Anthony Costanzo. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. And Dave, this is your first time on, so we'll go ahead and start with you. From all accounts, you're really the brainchild that started all of WiredBBQ.com. So I've heard it from Phil a few times, but what's the whole vision and concept behind WiredBBQ.com for those people that might be listening for the first time tonight?
Well, the vision and concept was to just celebrate the culture. When I first started it, I shot a couple of barbecue pieces, and it just seemed that people had so much fun doing what they were doing, and I had so much fun shooting it. It just became ingrained, so I kept doing it, and it became more of a party. Not necessarily a party, but just more fun every time I did it. So, and it showed that these people were very proud of what they were doing. And so I just continued. I just shot a little video here, shot a little video there, and it just took off from there.
Are you somebody that has a wild fascination with barbecue as your own personal interest, or is it just something that you happen to shoot because you're in a production line of work?
I didn't. I mean, I liked barbecue, but it wasn't a passion of mine to the extent that it is now. It just so happened a class I was helping teach assist, we did a segment on barbecue, and it was just so fascinating that I just decided to continue with shooting it. So, and it grew into a passion, and I actually learned how to smoke and cook myself just from watching the tapes of some of these top grillers and smokers.
Talking with Dave Baldine from WiredBBQ.com. Also, Phil and Anthony Costanzo joining us. So, Dave, how do you know Phil and Anthony? Just by serendipity or bad luck or what?
Not bad luck, but they are my nephews.
Oh, it's a family affair going on over at WiredBBQ.com.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Gotta love that. I mean, Phil, how does Dave approach you guys into coming on board with him, or is it something that everybody was kind of thinking about culmination-wise and somebody decided to get the ball rolling?
Well, actually, Tony has been working with Dave on this for a while, helping him with different aspects of it. And when we found out this year, or I should say when Tony and Dave had discussed this year doing the American Royal, Tony had the idea, and I guess Dave also had the idea of trying to do it live as they had done previously. So they kind of took it from there, and I just kind of fell into this. I'm a transplant up here from Florida. I just moved back up here after 20 years down south, and just kind of fell into it and helping them out and getting this done.
Now, Tony, from what I understand, you're more of the technical brains behind the whole thing. So how did you come up with the idea of being able to do this on remote and not with the quote-unquote traditional accoutrements of TV cameras and stuff like this? This is all, high-end technical stuff that is really more wireless than anything else.
This is still Phil. Tony's got a cold, and he's not able to talk right now. But from what I understand is, Tony has a background in technology. That's what he does for a living. And the idea of bringing this live was, I think, more of a challenge for him, something he wanted to see if he could do and complete. And I've got to say, he did it well. We would not have been able to bring the stream live had it not been for his diligence throughout the entire Jack Daniels experience. Down in the hollow, there was no signal whatsoever, and I think sometimes he even had to stick his big toe as far towards the sky as he could to get that signal coming down.
And I'm actually getting a lot of instant messages and emails in just as we're on right now with both you and Dave saying that you guys did an exceptional job under what they can only imagine were very difficult reception circumstances. So, Dave, when you decided to go ahead and start doing live broadcasts, did you have events particular in mind that you wanted to cover first, or was it kind of like let's find something that might be nearby to see if this is even a possibility?
Well, actually, I got to tip my hat to Tony on that. Actually, I was just going to shoot video at the American Royal. And when I sat down and we were talking with it, he just gave me a funny look, and he says, "You want to go live?" And I thought, can we? Because we can't go portable. And he gave me another funny look, and he says, "Yes, you can." And the moment we went live at the Royal, it just blew up from there. It was incredible. So I had planned on doing the Royal, and then find out what to do next. And then he just decided, hey, let's just try this, and we did, and it's been the greatest experience I think that we both had in what we're doing.
All right, so Dave, I'll ask you, both you and Phil, this question. What's been the feedback that you have been getting from people that have either watched the American Royal or now the Jack Daniels live feeds from what, in my estimation, has been a huge success? What feedback are you getting, Dave?
Everybody appreciated it. We've been thanked so many times. I didn't expect the overwhelming response that we did get. I knew people would like it. I just didn't realize that the fire that we lit would grow to be so big. And everybody says they appreciate it. They're thanking us, and it's been great. And I have to thank them too, because without the teams that being so nice and cordial to us, that we couldn't have pulled off what we did.
What about you, Nick? What about you, Phil? What kind of a response have you been getting?
It's been phenomenal. I am floored every time I walk into a camp. They knew who we were. They knew what we were doing since the American Royal. They've shown nothing but kindness to us. I have to give a special thanks out to Smoke on Wheels. They allowed us to embed with them basically and set up our equipment there, and without them, the live feed would not have been what it was. We might have been stuck in a parking lot looking at gravel, but those guys gave us the opportunity to sit with them and capture their team in the action, and that was great. Habitual Smokers also did us a huge favor. We our lodgings for the Jack were actually 2 hours away from where we were set up in the Hollow, and when they found out 10 o'clock Friday night that we had to drive 2 hours home and then 2 hours to come back the next morning, they insisted that we take their cabins for the evening since they would be up grilling all night. Their cabins were 20 minutes away, and they allowed us very, very graciously to stay in those cabins, and we just cannot thank them enough. It really saved a lot of wear and tear on us. But otherwise, whenever we go into a camp, the first thing we usually hear is that a fork or a microphone?
Right.
And that's one of the very first things. But after that, once they see who we are, they've welcomed us with just open arms, and it's been great.
All right, so Phil, we'll stick with you first, and then I'll go back to Dave. This past weekend, biggest highlight for you guys, or for you personally?
Me personally?
Yes.
I being up on the hill is one of them, and just that was just really cool to visit that tradition, and God, the biggest highlight, I have to say the award ceremony was really cool. I mean, it was really cool, the reaction of the people to the camera.
What about you, Phil?
For me, I've got to say just the being there at the Jack, that was just phenomenal for me. I had not experienced anything like that before, and it was great the entire time we were there, and the great friends we made. That's something I will cherish forever is the great people we met who not just met, but will remain friends for a long time to come, and I think that's just awesome.
Dave Baldine from WiredBBQ.com. Dave, I understand you have a meeting to get to, so I'll go ahead and cut you loose here, but I do appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, take care. There he is.
Right.
That's Dave Baldine. He is the Phil, he is the brains behind the whole thing, right?
He is the brains behind Wired Barbecue. That is correct. It was his idea and his passion that has brought us to where we're at. And Tony is the person who's the technical genius for our group, and he is the guy who has really been able, or who has made us able to do what we do. Without him, it would never have gone live either at the American Royal or at the Jack Daniels. And those two guys together, they are a force to be reckoned with.
Do you think, Phil, given the success that I've actually been receiving emails about what a great job you guys did over the past couple days now that the Jack has ended, because they know that we've been talking here over the last couple weeks. But do you think that there is a possibility, seeing the success and hearing some of the feedback from people that are interested in competition barbecue, whether they were teams watching that couldn't get down or just fans like myself that wanted to see what happened, that some of the bigger sanctioning bodies might be reaching out to you next year to cover some of their bigger events and help get the word out even more on competition barbecue? Because literally, where you're limited by television here in the U.S. just to basically the U.S., with this type of capability, I can be watching it here, but then people in Japan could be watching the Jack Daniels as well next year.
That's correct, and we're hoping for the same thing. We thought we did a really good job with the broadcast, based off the feedback that we've gotten. It seems it went over very well. We're hoping that we've made some contacts with the different sanctioning bodies, and we're hoping that some of those will pan out. We've gotten responses from Germany, Italy, Japan. We've had people. There's one gentleman in Germany who actually took pictures of his monitor during our live webcast with bottles of Jack in front of it and went and posted it on some websites out there. It was great. And so we're really hoping that they will pick up on this and see what we're doing, especially the live aspect of it, and contact us. We've contacted them, but we need to hear back before we can proceed any. And we're also wanted to put a note out there that we will be running a weekly show on wiredbbq.com. It starts this Sunday. It's nothing too big, but it will be at the home of tailgating here in Kansas City at a Chiefs home game. We're going to go catch the people grilling there and having their parties, because that's two things Kansas City is best known for: great tailgating and great parties.
That's right, and this year, not a very bad football team either.
Not too bad. Let's hope they can continue going on that path.
That's right. We're talking with Phil Costanzo from WiredBBQ.com. Phil, before I turn you loose here tonight, anything else you want to get out?
Yeah, actually, while we were down at the Jack, we ran into somebody very special, a man by the name of George Costanza. He was actually looking for you. He says he heard you talking about him on your radio show, and he wanted to know what was going on with that.
What can I say? There's no bigger fan of George Costanza than your gracious host here on Barbecue Central, and that would be me. So, I would hopefully you told him I said hi.
We did. As a matter of fact, I believe we found a way to contact him and have some words with you.
You mean tonight?
Tonight.
You're kidding.
No, sir. I believe he wanted to speak with you pretty badly.
All right. So is he going to show up on my front stoop or what?
He should be calling.
Rampy!
Calling directly for you.
Really?
Rampy!
Yes?
Rampy! Is that you?
That's me. Who's this?
This is George, baby. Look, I was down at the Jack Daniels. I looked for you. People tell me you're trying to get a hold of me. I was looking for you. You said related to these guys.
George Costanza, ladies and gentlemen. George, first
That's right,
of all.
Rampy. I wanted to see you. I got some words for you.
I mean, rarely am I caught in a position where I am at a loss for words, but the fact that, I'm getting yelled down by George Costanza, one of my all-time heroes, and the fact that I was not at one of the biggest barbecue events, doubly shameful, so I have nothing else to basically save myself with. However, if I would have had, how do you run in, George, how do you run into Phil?
Listen, I know these guys. They think we're related. We're not related. George, is that you? I need to make a call. I'm on the phone. Rampy, hang on. George, I don't know what you've been eating, but it's making a mess, and you got to clean that out of the toilet. No, I'm on the phone. Listen, I know these guys, okay? These are family guys. They're good guys. Maybe I'm not the George Costanza you think I am. I do import and export, things here, things there. We know people. Rampy, you want to set up a meeting with me? We got to get some cigars. We got to get some soup. We got to get some things. We'll get together. What do you think?
George, how's Frank doing?
Frank is good. I love the guy.
Yeah, well,
what Frank are we talking about?
You should. Frank, your father?
Oh, man.
Man, oh, man. Yeah, I love your dad, and, of course, I love your mom, who always screaming Georgie at the top of her lungs. Man, this is a huge honor for me, George. So hopefully this is something that might be able to you become a regular listener of the show. Have you been listening tonight in anxious anticipation of Phil and Dave's appearance?
Listen, these guys are top notch. They're doing a great job. I love your show. I love what they're doing. Everything's making sense. It's all coming together. I don't care about the mess in the toilet I made. That's besides the point. The point is your show is top notch. You guys are giving great positive feedback of all the things that are going on, current, past. These kids are doing it live. They're trying to get out and get international. They got a shot. Rampy. What do you say?
I think that WiredBBQ.com is going to be the next biggest thing to cover competition barbecue and or to happen to competition barbecue, and it would be a shame if these guys weren't picked up in some form or fashion, at least to help some of these bigger sanctioning bodies promote their bigger events at a minimum. And as I said in the show open, I would be signing these guys to an exclusive contract and paying them millions upon millions of dollars, dare I say, bags and bags of cash, baby, to cover all of my events during the course of next year, considering the success that they've had over the past couple competitions. George, look, I know you're very busy. You probably have meetings with Hank Steinbrenner. And I appreciate you, running into Phil and Tony down at the Jack, and then more importantly than that, taking time to call into the show. I really appreciate it, George.
Listen, Greg, it's been my pleasure. It's an honor. I love you, man. I appreciate everything you've done for these guys, everything you've done for yourself, and everything you did for my toilet. No, wait, that was me.
Thank you for calling in tonight, George. I appreciate it. Look at that guy. Phil, I mean, just when I think I couldn't become more indebted to you, one of my heroes, did you run into Kramer too, possibly, or no?
You know, it's so funny that you bring that up. Earlier I was on the phone and I got a message, and it says, "Tell Rimpy Cosmo says hi," because it does not get any better than that.
Yeah, Cosmo, man. Wow. I mean, what are the chances that these guys are roaming around Lynchburg, Tennessee? It had to be 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
It's something. And I think it has something to do with the name. We just kind of attract these kind of people.
Well, what can I say? Certainly, in my estimation, that is not a detractor at all. And again, we're talking with Phil Costanzo. We had Dave Baldine on a little bit earlier, and they are both from WiredBBQ.com. So we will be keeping an eye out, again, for those people that are interested in tailgating. Make sure you check them out on Sunday. And again, the website is WiredBBQ.com. As always, Phil, I appreciate the time, and thanks for coming out tonight.
Greg, we really appreciate it. You have a great night.
All right, take care. There he is. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Rod, did you have a clue? What kind of a clue did you have that George Costanza was going to be calling in tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Fine. I mean, Rod, you don't even change inflection in your voice. It's like you say it the same way every time. Anyway, Rod Gray from Pellet Envy, did you have an inkling that George Costanza was going to call in? Did you have an inkling?
Nothing.
Wow. All right. Rod Gray caught on surprise just as much as I was. Thanks to George Costanza, baby. Wow. I'm humbled. Not only am I humbled, I am thankful. So there you go. I got an instant message. Somebody said I said shout out. So now I'm going to have to go back and review the footage. I did not get a text message from my mother, who is the shout out police, per my instructions. So I will double check that, and if that's the case, the person that is calling me out via instant messenger will get a free prize. So I will be in review of that until next show next week, which is going to be a fabulous show, by the way. Don't forget, Huntington County Customs is giving you 15% off their Pro Series grill grates. So check them out, Huntington, and that's Hunting, HUNTINGDON, CountyCustom.com. Order one of their Pro Series grates, anything you want. And we're going to learn more about that next week because Brian Neville will be joining us here on the show to talk about how he got into the business, how he actually goes about putting in basically anything you want onto a grill grate. And these things are awesome. If you go to my Facebook page, I have pictures of that grill grate up there. Searing beef flesh. I also got one for my dad that says Air Boss. You can make them for all grills, any make, any model, and it's all good. And we'll talk to him about that next week. And then we have, who was my other guest next week? Let me pull up the calendar here. Check it out. Let's go to the month view. Oh, lordy. Oh, George Hensler. Yeah. George Hensler, barbecue competition cook and barbecue author, is going to be talking about his book, Lighting the Fire, which is a hand guide, not to be confused with hand job, a reference guide to starting your own barbecue competition cooking team. So that'll be George Hensler. And believe it or not, that's going to be November 3rd.
Big step out of here.
Winter's coming. Rod, do you have anything to add to that?
Nothing.
No, because you know as well as I do, winter is coming. And is there anything we can do about that with the winter coming?
Nothing.
Nothing. Of course there's nothing that we can do about that. All right. That's going to do it for me. I want to thank my second hour guests. Bob Trudnak, barbecue guru, reserve grand champ at the Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off this past weekend. Also, I want to thank Phil Costanzo and Dave Baldine from WiredBBQ.com. Sorry for that pause. My instant messenger correction person is saying that I said it at the beginning of the second segment, and I gave it to Brian Dutt. I thought I said special mention. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that right now as soon as I get done recording. You could be in the midst of a prize giveaway, son. Also, my first hour guest, that would be Mike Wozniak from QOut, the Grand Champ winner of this past weekend's Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. We will be looking for you again at 10 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday. And until then, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.